Oh, yeah. Oh, this gets nice down and dirty. Shout out to Ron Oliver. Ron Oliver is the man working on an album soon to be released for download. Oh, yeah, Ron. I like it. This one here is called Halftime. Yes, Halftime. I like how it breaks down right here. I told Ron I like it a little eclectic, so he's mixing it up for me, mixing all kinds of stuff. We will let you know when the album's ready for download. I have to work on the album art, but we are looking forward to it. But oh, all right, that's enough of that. All right, good. Welcome, everybody. Game Time Brian, otherwise known as the Mailman. Got to go to work soon. Want to do a video. I wanted to do it last night. Did not get it done. So shout out to the Cowboys. I think shout out to the Cowboys. I want to do a quick video. I know we got a lot of pros and cons on the Brian Schottenheimer hire. A lot of people are down on it. One Michael Irvin, the video I showed you yesterday. I'm not here to say it's the best hire. I'm here to say that you really don't know. Okay, I understand what Michael Irvin's saying. I totally get it. But it is what it is. We have to analyze the man. Don't analyze the logo or the GM or anything else. Analyze the man. That's what you got to do. Now I'm going to show some quick pros and cons. I'm going to react off of it. One, we're going to start out on the negative side, and then we're going to bring you back home with the positive. I want you just to understand the length of I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. The length of the resume that Brian Schottenheimer has. I mean, just real quick, Brian Schottenheimer started out in 1990. Actually, he won a national championship in 1996 at the University of Florida, calling plays. Just gonna run through it just quickly, just real quick. Under Steve Spurrier, by the way. 97, he was assistant with the Rams. 98, he joins his father, I believe. I believe Marty was still, yeah, he was still there. In 98, as an assistant, went to Syracuse, wide receivers coach in 99, tight ends coach. My guess is that's when Marty left the Chiefs. Not positive about that, but just wide receivers coach in Syracuse in 99, tight ends coach at USC. He's moving all around the offense. A quarterbacks coach with Washington Redskins in 2001, quarterbacks coach with the Washington Redskins 2002 to 2005, quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator for some of that time in New York with from 2006 to 2011. Remember that. Rams, 2012 to 2014 offensive coordinator. He went to Georgia as the offensive coordinator and a quarterbacks coach in 2015. Colts, 2016 and 2017. He was a quarterbacks coach. He went to Seattle. We know the success they had in Seattle there. He wasn't calling plays, but I believe he was the offensive coordinator. I don't think he was there for their Super Bowl. Jacksonville Jaguars, 2021 passing game coordinator. Dallas Cowboys in 2022 was an analyst. He helped McCarthy. Basically, he played the defensive side. So he was actually playing the defense in scenarios. 2023 and 2024 offensive coordinator, did not call plays. McCarthy did, and obviously head coach. But let's go back. To me, the most impressive, there's two. Obviously, the Florida offensive coordinator, but that's college, so we kind of put that aside. Seattle Seahawks in 2018 and 2020 speaks for itself. He did a fine job. He didn't get to a Super Bowl. But my opinion, his best work was done with the New York Jets to 2006 to 2011 as the offensive coordinator. Let's not forget, he took Mark Sanchez to not one, but 2 AFC championship games. Mark Sanchez with the Jets. So, again, people need to just back off of Brian Schottenheimer. Am I happy? The reason why I'm not happy is it seems like the players are getting what they want. We're going to see what the policy is. Hopefully he makes them sleep in a hotel at home games. That does make a difference. Just listen to Michael Irvin. But we're going to listen to some negative, and then we're going to switch it over to the positive. All right? So let's take a look. First things first. And that's it. We're not going to probably get copyrighted for them. They're sticklers. But that's basically what the issue is when it comes to this whole picture. Now, you saw, I think Jerry is less the problem than Stephen Jones. We saw him use the air quotes and basically refer to the so-called drought. Maybe he didn't mean it that way, but it sure was bad optics for the fans watching. Yeah, there is a drought. Okay, now that's the negative. The negative is everybody gets to stay the same. Nobody has pressure. Again, how much real change was there going to be? As long as Jerry's around, how much real change? He's still going to do his press conferences after the game, He's still going to do his media hits twice during the week on the local radio station. So that's never going to change. The evaluation part, okay. I think they're starting to understand because we did hear yesterday where they're taking a different look at I don't have time to show that clip, but I know Broaddus was saying that they're taking a different look at their own free agents. They always seem to overvalue their own free agents. But let's listen. We'll end with that. But before that, let's listen to Ross Tucker, ex-Eagle, Eagle analyst, ex-Cowboy, smart man. Let's listen to him. And he really spews some facts that all the negative people out there, especially of other teams that are laughing at us, there's no guarantee with any coach, but let's listen.
A good team that's still playing, but first we have to get your thoughts on the reality of Brian Schottenheimer, new Cowboys head coach.
Yeah, I think I'm about to blow your guys' mind away.
Uh-oh.
Make sure you're rolling on this on both video and audio.
Just
okay?
like his Micah Parsons prediction, we'll save it in the archive.
Yeah, I'm going to give you 4 reasons why I like the Brian Schottenheimer hire.
Okay.
First of all, a lot of people will tell you that he was never the hot shot coordinator. Go back when he took Mark Sanchez to 2 AFC championship games, running the rock, play action. Sanchez, 2 playoff games. Brian Schottenheimer was the OC. That's number 1. Number 2, even if you think he's not the hot shot coordinator, you know what the reality is? A lot of those guys end up sucking as head coaches because it's a totally different skill set. Game planning and calling plays is not the same as clock management, setting the culture of the team, or everything that goes into being a head coach CEO. Maybe Brian Schottenheimer was an average coordinator, but he's a great head coach as opposed to guys that are the opposite.
But
great coordinators,
you don't know.
They can't make it as head coaches.
But should we be worried that he's also calling the plays?
That's a fair question. Let me get to my other 2, then I'll get to that. The other 2, I had 9 head coaches in the NFL, okay? His father, Marty Schottenheimer, is the best head coach
Bobby
I've
Murphy.
ever been around, okay? I had Bill Parcells when I was in Dallas. I had Bill Belichick in New England. I had Joe Gibbs in Washington.
Wow.
I know that Marty Schottenheimer did not have the success those guys did in terms of winning Super Bowls or what. I get that. All I'm telling you is sitting there as a player, watching what they say to us, watching how they go about it. Marty Schottenheimer was the best head coach I ever had. Better than the 3 Hall of Famers I just named.
That's big.
And the last thing, maybe the most important thing, the reality is nobody knows anything. I mean, you go back to 2016.
This is true.
The guy that was ranked as the worst hire was Doug Peterson. In 2017, he took the Eagles to their only Super Bowl ever. Okay? And then the next year they went to the divisional round, the next year, whatever. 4 years ago, the Eagles hired a guy nobody had heard of. It was the last guy hired. A guy named Nick Sirianni, who didn't even call the plays for the Colts. Frank Reich did. Okay? He's now taking the Eagles to their second Super Bowl in 3 years. My point is, the press conference doesn't matter. How much buzz they have when they get hired doesn't matter. Nobody really knows. Everybody likes to act like they do. Everybody likes to talk like they do.
Shit.
Brian Schottenheimer might be awesome. He might be terrible. You don't know until they actually get in that chair and have that job.
Well said.
Now, I'm going to listen to more of that. But again, you don't know. You don't know. You think you know. This isn't the normal hire. This isn't Jason Garrett. This guy comes from a long list of, he's 50. He's in his 50s. He's 51 years old. He started with his 20s. You're going to say, well, why didn't he get the opportunity? I don't know. But we've laid out that he's won playoff games. My bad. I thought it was championship games, but regardless, playoff games. Mark Sanchez. Again. But do you see the correlation I was trying to make between him and Nick Sirianni? All my Eagle fans think Nick Sirianni, it's the sun rises and sets, not all of them, but a lot of them, in Nick's pants. Well, Nick's also got a roster that's the best in the NFL. And it's even better this year. If anything, maybe you would say they may have underperformed last year, which they did. They blew it. They didn't have Saquon, but they just keep adding the talent. Listen to more.
Ross Tucker joining us here on 105 through the Fan. Okay, Ross, so you mentioned you were in Washington. 01 was your first year there. And Brian Schottenheimer, I know, was the quarterback's coach. Do you remember much about him, the way he ran his group, how vocal he was? Do you remember much about his personality within the locker room?
Yes. Well, first of all, I remember him being very young. And I remember
He's in his 20s,
a couple different interactions. One is I missed an OTA to go graduate from Princeton.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And,
Princeton. Ross Tucker.
No.
Smart
but you
man.
don't understand. I'm an undrafted piece of crap free agent. And I had to go into Marty Schottenheimer's office and I said, Coach, there's nothing more important to me in the world than trying to make this football team. But there's no scholarships in the Ivy League, and my parents paid a lot for me to go to Princeton. Is there any way I could go to graduation? Like, if you think it hurts me at all, he started laughing. He said, if I paid that much money for my kid to go to college, I'd want to see him graduate too. So go ahead. The reason why I'm telling you guys this, I graduated on like a Tuesday morning. I drove right from graduation to the facility to watch practice that day to see who got the second team reps at right tackle instead of me. And while I was in there, Brian Schottenheimer poked his head in. He's probably thinking, we got done practice at noon. It's like 6 o'clock at night. Who is this? I think that this is like one of the reasons why they love me. He popped his head in to see who it was. And he said, how was graduation? He already knew. Like he knew
they know everything.
That this piece of crap undrafted free agent from Princeton missed because I was getting graduated. I said, it was great, Coach. Thank you. But I'm sure he told his dad, hey, that dude drove right here from graduation to watch and see what he missed today. And that was favorable. Remember this. That was the year, Bobby, that they cut Jeff George, our starting quarterback, after the second game. We played a Monday night game against the Packers. We get there on Wednesday, and everybody's like, did you hear what happened? I'm like, no, like, they cut Jeff George. In my rookie, I'm like, they cut our starting quarterback? Like, I was like blown away. He got a lot that year out of Tony Banks and Kent Graham. We were 0-5, including a loss to you guys in Dallas when we were both 0-4. Jay Leno's making fun of us. It was a Monday night game. LeVar was crying in the locker room after the game. He was so upset. I had never been to Texas Stadium. Watching it on TV as an Eagles fan my whole life, I thought it was amazing. I got there, I was like, this place is a dump. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
it was run down by then.
Totally blown away. Anyway, he was very well respected. You know, you guys should get on Sage Rosenfels. I can give you his number because Rosenfels was the rookie quarterback that year. And those guys were always doing extra stuff after practice. I remember Tony Banks, Kent Graham was the backup. Sage, they were doing stuff. But Sage could give you a lot of Brian Schottenheimer insight. But I thought he was good. I mean, look, I didn't interact with him that much, but from what I saw, he did a nice job. It's not easy to be like a 28-year-old quarterback coach, and Jeff George is probably 10 years older than him at that point.
That is incredible. Ross Tucker joining us on the D&M Leasing Hotline live on the Fan Cam, Twitch, and Zoom. One of the other people they interviewed, one of the few, was Kellen Moore. All the reports have the Saints interviewing Kellen Moore yesterday. What are your thoughts about Kellen Moore, and how much have you gotten to interact with him covering the Eagles?
Yeah, just a couple times. One production meeting during the preseason games. And then I actually said hi to him before the NFC Championship game Sunday. You know, I thought he called a really bad game against the Rams in the divisional round, and it almost cost the Eagles. They almost lost the game. I did not think he called a very good game. I thought NFC Championship game, obviously, they scored 50-some points. He did a terrific.
All right, we're going to leave it there. But basically, and that was Kellen's MO with Dallas, he just didn't have the talent that he has with the Eagles. Let's be honest. He called a bad game against the Rams. Close game, talent wins. I would say that's how Dallas won their Super Bowl in 95. We had all the leftovers, and that's what wins. So I just want to sum up this little video. We don't know, okay? This isn't a young coach from out of nowhere who's on the cheap. He's got a 4-year deal. He's going to run through Dak Prescott's contract. Whether Dak sees that 4 years, only Dak can attest, you know. But make no mistake about it, I'm not happy because they're catering to the players, but it's not because of Brian Schottenheimer. Let's let the man work. Let's let the man do what he's going to do. What I can tell you is, from everything I'm gathering, Brian Schottenheimer puts the time in the facility. I'm not here to crap on Mike McCarthy, but that was always the issue with Mike McCarthy. Just ask Brian Broaddus. That was always the issue. The issue was always, wow, he's a 9-to-5er. He wants to go home, and God bless his family. Just got word Mike McCarthy will be taking the year off in 2025, so he will not be getting the New Orleans Saints job. So he was so fed up with Jerry that he took rolled the dice, and it came up snake eyes. He crapped out. He's out of a job, but good for Mike McCarthy. He wasn't going to put up his Jerry shit anymore. So, but we're going to have to let this play out. We're starting to hear that they're going to do things different in free agency. We're going to be here to cover it. So they're not going to be able to get off light. They're starting to hear. When you hear Stephen Jones, the first thing he says that in a press conference, in air quotes, and we know we're hearing this, we're hearing that. They hear it all. It's their job to know. It's getting louder and louder and louder. We're not going to simmer down unless we get to the playoffs and win a damn playoff game. Okay? We're going to crawl before we can walk. All right? It's going to be a little bit, but maybe not as long as you think. Again, this league is fleeting. A couple moves, a couple draft picks hit, and you're right back in the mix. So, again, I'm good. I hope you're good. It is what it is, people. Don't take it out on Shotty. That being said, I'm out of here. I got to get ready for work. Talk to you later. Peace.
For a living, Newman.
I'm a United States postal worker.
Aren't those the guys that always go crazy and come back with a gun and shoot everybody?
Sometimes.
Why is that?
Because the mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you gotta get it out. But the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. And then the barcode reader breaks, and it publishes clearinghouse.
All right. Ask you something. What do you do for a living?